for the NCAA. The book landed somewhere between Ann Arbor and Los Angeles and did not manage to hit Jim Harbaugh since he is safely ensconced within the Los Angeles Chargers facility. But we now have far more details for this case, and some of them are hilarious. So I realize this makes a lot of people mad when we talk about this for a couple different reasons. You know, you've got your Jim Harbaugh cheated. He should be thrown into the sun people, mostly Ohio State fans. You've got your Michigan fans who are like, stop persecuting Jim Harbaugh. No. He did what they're saying he did because they laid it out pretty clearly here. It's just you don't have to care, and most people don't. Ohio State fans care. Jeffrey in the chat. Much worse. The LA Chargers paid $80 million for a cheater. What does that say about the NFL? Oh no, the NFL's not a paragon of virtue? Breaking news from Jeffrey. Larry in the chat. Quit kissing up to Hairball. He cheated and you know it. Well, yeah. But it really depends on how you feel about NCAA rules, and most people don't care unless it's their rival team that is breaking them. Then they want their rival team to be suspended forever. AJ Adams, come on, y'all. Put your biases aside and honestly tell me that you care about Jim Harbaugh allegedly cheating. Again, fans of rival schools care because they want to see their rivals suffer. If their own school were accused of the same thing, well, they defend him to the oh, wait, we know this because we watched it happen with Ohio State and Jim Tressel. Because when this comes down to it, it's not about Jim Harbaugh meeting with prospects on campus during COVID, because that's what the beginning of this was. The severity of the penalties that were handed down is because the NCAA is accusing Harbaugh of lying to the NCAA. Same thing that happened with Tressel. Both of them got caught lying to the NCAA. If Jim Tressel had gone, you know what? Yeah, there's some guys that were trading their trinkets for tattoos and cash, then he wouldn't have gotten fired at Ohio State. Instead, they said, we hear this is going on. What do you know about this? Nope, never heard of it. But we have this email here. Oh, crap. Exactly. Bruce Pearl, when he was at Tennessee, lying about whether Aaron Kraft was at a cookout. It was not a barbecue. It was a cookout. That's what it is. Because the NCAA can't really punish for, or at least punish severely for a lot of these things, because a lot of them are just kind of trivial. But they can punish severely for lying to the NCAA, and that's what they're doing here. So in this particular case, Jim Harbaugh gets a 4-year show cause. And this is written kind of weird. I would actually like a little clarification on this, because in the NCAA report, it says the 4-year show cause suspends him from all athletically related activities, which sounds like a 4-year suspension. But then it goes on to say he has a 1-year suspension where he couldn't communicate with coaches or be in the building. And I can't quite figure out, would it be a 1-year suspension and then he's back to coaching? Or would it be 4 years where there are restrictions where he couldn't recruit or there's certain things he couldn't do? That would be an interesting thing to know if it actually mattered, but it doesn't matter because he's the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers now. And I know you've got the folks who are going to say, well, Jim Tressel had his suspension follow him into the NFL because he was going to be a consultant for the Colts. And then the Colts wouldn't let him be a consultant until after Game 7, I believe. That was incredibly stupid. The Colts did that proactively. The NFL went along with it. Again, all of that was stupid. They should have just let Jim Tressel work. But this is a very different time. Back then, people still believed somewhat in the NCAA. Now they realize what the NCAA is. As Jim Harbaugh's attorney pointed out, a serial violator of the Sherman Antitrust Act. Woody in the chat. I think this is the NCAA gauging public opinion with the Harbaugh punishment when they are determining the punishment for more. yes, Moore is only accused of level 2, but is a repeat offender. I don't think they're doing that. I don't think they're testing the waters on any sort of Sharon Moore thing. I think all that's going to happen later. The makeup of the Committee on Infractions may change by the time they get to that case. But Zach in the chat. See, Zach doesn't even know what case we're talking about. Not a rival of Michigan. I care because it ruins the integrity of the game. The Patriots did the exact same thing, and people were just as mad. We're not talking about Connor Stallions. We're talking about Cheeseburger Gate. Connor Stallions stuff has not been adjudicated yet. So that remains to be seen. Harbaugh is going to get hit for that one too. But this is about Cheeseburger Gate. And as the NCAA said, it's not just a cheeseburger. No, as we learned reading the report, there was bacon on the cheeseburger too. Here's what happened. This is from the NCAA report. This is about Harbaugh meeting with a prospect, unofficial visit during COVID when you're not supposed to have recruits in, you're not supposed to be meeting with recruits. I'm reading directly from the report here. The following morning, Prospect 2 and his father met the recruiting director and Harbaugh at a local diner. In an interview with the institution and the enforcement staff, Prospect 2 stated he and his father had, quote, pretty much a one-on-one breakfast with Coach Harbaugh, where they discussed Prospect 2's future and potentially playing football at Michigan. During the recruiting director's interview with the institution and enforcement staff, he did not specifically recall Prospect 2's visit, but he did remember being present at a breakfast with Harbaugh and the prospect at the diner during the COVID-19 recruiting dead period. The recruiting director also provided an expense report and a receipt showing he paid for breakfast at the diner on February 28, 2021, and the order included a bacon cheeseburger. This mirrored Prospect 2 and his father's account of the date and time of the meal and the type of food eaten by Harbaugh. Specifically, Prospect 2 recalled that Harbaugh ordered a hamburger for breakfast, which, quote unquote, kind of stood out for him. Dun, dun, dun! The smoking cheeseburger, everyone. And it's actually a smoking bacon cheeseburger. Harbaugh got asked about all of this to the NCAA investigators. He said, yeah, I said I had no recollection of that, and I would go as far as to dispute that. He went on to say, I used to have a mind like a steel trap. Now it's more of an aluminum trap, but I would believe in my state that I remember having breakfast at name of diner with name of Prospect 2 and his father, or name of Prospect 3 and his father. So I would go dispute that. Correct. And that's the issue. They are accusing Jim Harbaugh of lying to them because they said, did you do this? Did you meet with this guy here? No, I didn't. Are you sure about that? No, I didn't. Here's the receipt. Here's the expense report. Are you still sure about that? I don't recall. And I should go back. He said, I don't recall the entire time, which in a court of law is what your lawyer is going to tell you to do. Just say, I don't recall. Because then they can't really challenge you on that. But the NCAA, not a court of law. If they don't believe you, they don't believe you. And they don't believe Jim Harbaugh. What does that mean? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. Because, again, he's the coach of the Chargers. Now, there were a group of people during the dance Jim Harbaugh had with various NFL teams this offseason who said, oh, he's definitely, he still might come back to Michigan. No, he's never coming back to Michigan. Hopefully all of this puts that to bed. He was never coming back to Michigan. He was going to take an NFL job, whichever NFL job was offered to him. And he probably would have been offered more than one. He got down the road with the Chargers, and that was it. So that was interesting. And Michigan kind of jumping through hoops to try to give him a new contract, and them saying, well, we'd protect him from the... Okay, you were going to have to make Sharon Moore the head coach anyway, because you were going to have Jim Harbaugh this year if you had him back. But again, he wasn't ever coming back. But all of this is just very, very funny because we learned it wasn't just a cheeseburger. It was a bacon cheeseburger. This, by the way, will be my new Bruce Pearl. It was a cookout, not a barbecue. So That's what happened. There will be more of this because the Connor Stallion stuff, again, has not been run through the whole system yet. This is just the Cheeseburger Gate stuff. And yes, I will keep calling it Cheeseburger Gate NCAA. Your whole case hinged on a freaking cheeseburger. It's how you cracked it. You should be proud. You're like, hell yeah. We got Jim Harbaugh with a cheeseburger. Now, he got you ultimately because he won a national championship, went to the NFL, and your punishment isn't going to affect him at all. But you did crack the case. Zach, yes, it was the cheeseburger that turned 29-16 the 4 years before into 37-3. That's the case we're talking about. Now, if you think Connor Stallions did that, well, maybe. Might have had more to do with firing Don Brown, revamping the offensive staff, making Sharon Moore the offensive coordinator, or making Sharon Moore the offensive line coach first, then ultimately the offensive coordinator. I think probably that had something to do with it. Christopher Jordan, was there an egg on the bacon cheeseburger? The people need to know. This is a great question. See, this is why I love you guys, because you ask the most important question. This is Dear Andy show, by the way. There will be more Dear Andy later in the show, but we'll start with Christopher's question. Was there an egg on the bacon cheeseburger? This is something we need to find out because, one, it was consumed at breakfast. Also, bacon cheeseburger at breakfast is an aggressive order, and I am here for it. Now, I think I would do an egg on this. One, because ordering an egg on your cheeseburger is a power move. Two, because you're doing it at breakfast, it gives it a more breakfasty feel. The question, Christopher, is what kind of egg would we order? Would we do the fully fried egg? See, I feel like that's more of a lunch or dinner addition to the burger. I think we go over easy egg because it's breakfast. We then lift the bun off. We crack the yolk, let it run down over the whole bacon cheeseburger. Oh, glorious. Now, if you're trying to meet with a recruit, you're going to get your hands messy. There's going to be egg running in your mouth if you do this. So it's potentially an issue. Christopher Jordan says egg on a bacon cheeseburger is top tier, no runny egg. No, I think if you're Jim Harbaugh, especially because the egg is the power move, you would have to order the over easy egg. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.